Welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free from narcissistic abuse with quantum tools and understandings. I am really proud about caring about other people, and I know you are too. But do we, as a result of having been abused, toughen up, guard our heart, stop being giving and trusting, and shut down to ourselves, life and others in order to be safe? A lot of us do. But the great news is I don't believe we have to. And I'm going to take you through a step-by-step journey today in this episode to show you how you can still be an awesome, beautiful, giving person and be safe. Not just from narcissists, but also safeguarded against being taken for granted by anyone ever again. Okay, so now before I get right into this episode regarding being empathetic and having boundaries with narcissists, I sent out an email to you all a few days ago about an amazing free video series and course that Dr. Christiane Northrup has put together called the Energy Vampire Solution. It's all about how, as an empath, to create boundaries with narcissists. Exactly today's topic. And if you haven't seen Christiane's work yet, she's a regular with Hey How. She's appeared on Super Soul Sunday with Oprah. And I've done interviews and work with Christiane before. She is inspirational and knowledgeable because she's one of the world's best visionary experts on health and well-being. And she's one of my most favorite Thriver colleagues of all time. And the reason why I'm telling you about this is because she's putting on a huge worldwide event where she shares astounding solutions to protect yourself from narcissists. It's revolutionary knowledge specifically for us, this community. And I don't recommend other people's work very often, but this is one of those times that I hugely am, because this is an incredible opportunity for you to get a super boost to your knowledge and healing from Christiane. And her 4-part video series and the connected webinar to this event is totally free. So it just can't be missed. It really can't. Because personally, I wouldn't miss this for anything. So my highest suggestion right now is to stop this video, scroll down to the link in the description. I've got the link there to join up. Enter your details so you don't forget about it or miss out. It's going to be huge and amazing for you. So do that now. Okay, so let's get back to this episode, which is all about being a beautiful, kind-hearted person who will never get taken down by a narcissist again. We're going to look at it the quantum way, not the human way. Because the human way is to shut down, protect, and trap all your fear and pain inside you and try to operate through your defenses, and then sadly and devastatingly experience how much life just continues to smash you open. Or you have to stay hidden under a rock to try to avoid that happening. And as a result, you can't participate in or enjoy life really at all. All right, so let's have a look at our end goal. I really want to focus on that, what that looks like. Who is a person impervious to abusers, who can be open-hearted? What would this person look like? How do they feel? How do they operate? This isn't a person in fear, which of course we are hugely after narcissistic abuse, because our very identity and life force was under threat of literal annihilation. We know that, but let's just continue. This person is a person who is loving and open-hearted, who is powerful, honest, real, and self-generative. They are radiant, happy, and forthcoming. If we are shattered, hurting, and traumatized, point blank, we are not this person. We aren't safe, and we aren't impervious to abuse. Rather, we're like an injured gazelle at the edge of the pack, ripe for an attack, regardless of if we're loving and giving or not. The truth is, we are likely, because of our trauma, no matter how good a person we are, to be triggered randomly at times, and we're hurting the people we love, even if we are a loving person, because we're victimized and traumatized and we're filled with toxic pain. And without meaning to, we absolutely hurt those we care about. The bad news is when we're filled with trauma, we may feel nothing like a radiant, confident, loving person able to speak up easily and look after ourselves healthily against people who don't look after us. And we may not have any idea how to become that person. The good news is we can get there if we know how to, and if we put the work in to become the person who is there, no matter what we've suffered and lost. And even if abuse and having our boundaries crushed our entire life is all we've ever known, we can break through into our true selves and our true lives. So how do we begin? We need to look at a different way to do this other than cognitively shut down, protect ourselves and try to arm ourselves against abusers. That didn't work for us. If it did, we would all have easily got well and started having great lives after abuse. It didn't work, so we need to find another way. We need to go quantum instead, and many people ask, what does that mean? To me, it means simply to get to the truth of something, the real core, the pure essence of it, and work with that truth, because that's the only place where we can generate true power and freedom. The truth sets us free. First of all, absolutely, you will need to shut down and protect to get some essential healing and recovery done. During this time, we don't put our pearls out in front of swines to get smashed. We purposefully protect ourselves. We need to be like a bird in the bird hospital who stops flying around so that we can't get shot down, and instead we settle deeply down into the nest and shut out the outside world to get our healing done. Absolutely no contact or strict with boundaries, modified contact with narcissists is essential at this time if we're going to meet our inner wounds and free ourselves from our internal trauma. If you do have trusted people, let them into your nest, but no, they can't do your healing for you. They can support you, but now you're learning to become your best and most trusted resource, which means being fully committed to healing yourself, because that's the quantum deal. There is no ability to have any faith and trust in life or others until we heal that essential relationship with ourselves first. It's got to be our starting point. Okay, so once we've committed to our orientation to take our personal hiatus to heal our inner identity, our essential relationship with ourselves, step number 2 is about giving up the focus that people are doing things to us and that there are bad people and our plight is because of other people. Whether this is true or not, this focus is never going to help us get to our goal of being loving, open, happy, honest, and powerful. We have to understand that trying to change or control people, especially ones who did hurt us, who have no capacity to change, such as narcissists, or trying to control people we haven't even met yet, who we can't even possibly know what makes them tick, it's all wrong town. It's fruitless, impossible, and it only hands our power away. We also have to give up the notions that our health, well-being, truth, and incredible lives lies in the hands of others. As adults, it doesn't. We're not on a desert island trapped with one person who holds a gun at our head. And oh gosh, I know it feels like this in the bowels of hell with narcissistic abuse. However, when we heal, we know it's not the truth. We can find our way out of the fog into self-generation. It is available to us when we heal. And those of you who are already on the NARP program, I can't recommend this goal-setting healing enough. Okay, and I want you to write this down. Go back and rewind until you get it right because it's powerful. I am the source of all my love, success, happiness, and well-being. As a combined force with my higher power and all of life, regardless of what anybody else is or isn't doing. So I want you to write it down and read it back to yourself a few times. This is what we want to anchor into. So with the NARP goal setting module, you can clear all the trauma and the resistance to that until you know it's embodied within you as truth. And then I promise you, the rest of your healing and empowerment will go so much better. And the reason is because that is a fundamental core soul belief truth that will change everything for you. And being deeply embedded in that quantum truth will stop you trying to get yourself from all the wrong people and places and handing over power by not being true to yourself, which is causing you to be connected with false sources who are narcissists. Then, as step number 3, we make the commitment to stop pointing the finger and saying this story. I was so giving and caring and you smashed me and destroyed my life. Because I promise you that is never going to allow you to have a loving, great life, which is only possible if you are a good person with an open, loving heart, not a closed, resentful, blaming one. Because every time we are obsessing and blaming someone or all men or women or narcissists for hurting us or doing things to us, we are looking to the outside to provide us something that we are not as yet standing for, anchored in with our now inner identity, and having healed within ourselves enough to be able to start generating for ourselves. This following mantra is very powerful. This is not even about you. This is really about you showing me what I needed to heal within myself. This was huge for me. I had that awareness after my breakdown, and if I hadn't realized and accepted this quantum truth, and if I hadn't connected to it and ran with it, I wouldn't be alive today. And we certainly would not be having this conversation. Okay, so step 4 in our quantum goal to be amazing, caring people whilst being powerful enough to look after ourselves simultaneously, we build on even further from the understanding that no one else can give us ourselves. And it's our job to. And just like no one else can give us ourselves, if we do not fulfill our own soul truth and happiness in order to be whole and complete ourselves, then we will never serve life and others in wholesome ways either. This is so important to understand. People who are empaths can have this mistaken understanding. I'm here to serve others from my own self-sacrificing. That is a completely false premise. If you really care about others, you can start to understand you're here to serve all of life from your state of self, health, power, and fullness. When you commit to this, you will never be taken down by people who are emptying you out. Rather, you will first of all connect to your truth, and from that place of self-health, you will give in healthy ways to others who can co-generate more goodness and expansion in the world. And you no longer allow your emptying out to those who are parasitical and pillaging and raping life force. Your mantra will be, I will check in within myself first, whether this is appropriate to give or to do this. Step 5 is realizing what it takes to fill ourselves and be and stay healthy. It takes being aligned with and living our soul truths. And how we establish these is by asking ourselves these questions. What are my rights and truths? What do I want? What patterns of life am I willing to live? If you don't know your rights and values, no one else will either. And life and them can't provide them to you. If you aren't sure, a really helpful exercise is to write about the things that you've received in your life that have happened to you, that you don't want, that have hurt you, and then write the opposite in the positive as to what it is that you do want to receive and experience in your life. Because you have to know what your truth is and stand for these preferences and values. You have to align with them, reflect them yourself, and ask for them healthily in order to create them and receive them. So if, as an example, if you want honesty from people in your life, be honest and speak up and have the difficult conversations about what doesn't feel right and what you need. And if you want people to honor their word to you, be impeccable in your word to yourself and them, and then express that to them honestly, that word is important, their word is important to you too. Most of all, be honest, kind, supportive, and real to yourself. Understand this. Generally, the way people treat us is the direct reflection of how we're treating ourselves. If we don't have time for ourselves, other people won't either. That's just one simple example. If we don't talk lovingly and supportively to ourselves, other people won't either. You also have to be prepared to walk away from people and things who don't represent your values and truth. Would you be on a football team if you wanted to play netball and if you had no interest in football? No. Would you eat Chinese food if you're allergic to it when you really need gluten-free food to be well? No. Would you hang out with a totally unavailable person who refuses to be present and love you when your sole desire is to connect with someone who is present and who can adore you? Will we stay with somebody who pathologically lies, cheats, name calls, financially rips us off and even hits us when we really want honesty, loyalty, exclusive commitment, teamwork and tenderness? Why is it often we do? We cling. We try to change people and we stay separated within and without from our real goals of being the generative force of what we want and need to be happy and whole. We don't have healthy boundaries that say no to that in order to create something healthier that we can open our heart and say yes to. And then, of course, we get hurt, traumatized and injured and close our hearts down even further, not realizing that this is wrong town. If you are putting up with the things that are not your values and truth, like I did for decades, it is because we don't love ourselves or are dedicated to ourselves enough yet to realize we deserve to have our soul truths met. And we don't realize that we have the power to become the generative source of these things. We don't understand the greatest quantum truth of all, that life is ready to nourish us with our truths, with our truth of all that we want when we become these things. Our true power is never in trying to get something to become it. It's in becoming it, and then we get it. And often this means clearing all our unconscious childhood, generational and accumulated human traumas that are keeping us internally separated from what we really want. So I want to do this little exercise together. I want you to check into this because it's really interesting. I want you to feel into yourself regarding having a fully present relationship with another human being, meaning neither of you have any masks on. There's total honesty, nakedness, disclosure and connection with no barriers. I'm talking about the real deal, true heart-to-heart soul love, unadulterated, complete and whole love with another. Nowhere to hide, just being real love, fully open heart. How does this really feel? I want you to stop the video. I want you to connect, scroll down and write how it feels in the comment section below. And do it honestly, because this is going to be a pretty amazing community group exercise. For most of us, before and even during our healing, this can feel terrifying, or maybe we feel really numb and blanked out to it. Maybe we just can't even connect with it yet. And what that means is that we have internal barriers that are holding us away from real love, which is our organic birthright. And those traumas need to be healed for it to become possible in our own life. And first of all, that love needs to open up to ourselves before we can expand it further. When we stop trying to force people to change into who they need to be to make us happy and well, and instead just do the healing inside ourselves in order to become the force that makes us happy and well, and know that there are no limits, restrictions, statistics and lack, which is not in the quantum world, when we start creating like the creators we're quantumly designed to be. And we know and accept that the only shot we have at having an amazing life is we've got to grow up from being the broken children inside who were trying to make adults be well enough to love us healthily and become that healthy adult ourselves. When we get straight on our values and our preferences, and when we start getting aligned with them, then as the next step, we take our time to ascertain if people are a good fit for our soul truths and our values, whether that be in intimate relationships, friendships, creative endeavors, or business deals. And I love that saying that hungry people make the worst shoppers. Why is that? Because they go for junk food. They grab it mindlessly, shove it in their trolleys, and start eating it, scoffing it down in the car park, sometimes even before they get to their car. And that's what step 6 is all about. When we're not hungry with neediness or emptiness because we have a great connection with ourselves, then we take our time at a healthy pace to get to know people. We don't throw all our boundaries out the window and let them straight in. We retain our interests and our great life that we built for ourselves. We don't pin our life, interests and happiness on this person and expect them to provide that for us. We work at sharing lives together. We can be kind and giving to these people appropriately, but we certainly don't say yes if we feel a no or if something feels off. We speak up, we ask for clarification, we lay boundaries. We do the sensible thing, we do our due diligence, and in business deals or prenup arrangements, we get things in writing. I promise you, if you are all of these things, taking your time and letting people in gradually and appropriately, in a solid, adult and sensible way, no narcissist will take you down. You're far too much hard work for them with not enough instant narcissistic supply payoff. Narcissists move on to much easier targets if they can't hook you, ensnare you, mesmerize and fool you and start mining you quickly. So please know, if you follow these steps and make it all about your healing, development and growth, you will become a beautiful boundary boss with a full and overflowing heart who is generating so much joy, expansion and success for yourself and others that you will be stunned and amazed. And the more light and power you shine, the more narcissists will recoil away from you and back into the shadows. So, check in. How does that feel for you? Do you feel that this is possible? because I'm here to tell you it is. Do you know that your life isn't over and that there is a way out of the pain into your real life, that something inside you, even the tiniest little spark, knows awaits you? And I'd love to hear from you in regard to those questions. So please write your comments or more questions below to me, because I'll answer them for you. So I hope that you enjoyed this very important video. And if you'd like to learn more about how to heal your heart, open it up, and become honest, powerful, and impervious to manipulation, deceit, or abuse, you can sign up to my free 16-day recovery course, which includes an invitation to a healing workshop with me, a set of ebooks, and lots more. So to access these, just click the link at the top right of this video. And if you want to see more videos, make sure you like and subscribe so you get notified as soon as each new video is released. So until next time, keep smiling, keep healing, and keep thriving, because there's nothing else to do. Lots of love. Bye-bye.